Everyone called it a dumb kids movie, critics laughed at it, people walked out of theaters, and the internet turned it into a meme before the credits even rolled. But here's the thing nobody's actually talking about. The Minecraft movie is not about blocks, it's not about zombies, and it's not even about survival. It's about something you lost a long time ago, and you didn't even notice it was gone. My name is Smith, and this is Smithverse, where we go deeper than the movie ever lets you. Let's be real. When this movie dropped, the internet lost its mind, but for completely the wrong reasons. Chicken jockey memes, Jack Black screaming, Jason Momoa doing Jason Momoa things. That's all anyone could talk about. And yeah, on the surface, it looks like a total mess. Weak plot, goofy humor, 5 different writers trying to pull the story in 5 different directions. But when you strip all of that away, what's actually sitting underneath this movie is one of the most honest things Hollywood has said in years about what it means to be a creative person living in a world that doesn't reward creativity. Look at Steve, not the meme version, the actual character in this film. He's a guy who grew up with one single dream: to build, to explore, to create something that didn't exist before he came along. And what does the real world hand him in return? A job selling doorknobs. That is not a random detail thrown in for a cheap laugh. That is the entire point of his character. Steve represents every creative person who was ever told to be more practical, every artist who was told their imagination wasn't a real career, every builder and dreamer and writer who buried their passion underneath a 9-to-5 job just to keep the lights on. The overworld isn't just a fantasy world that looks cool on screen. It's the world that all of us secretly wanted, a place where what you build with your hands and your mind actually matters to the people around you. Now think about what the overworld actually is at its core. There are no rules telling you what you can build or how you should build it. No one is grading your work. No one is standing over your shoulder telling you that your idea is wrong or impractical or not good enough. You just create freely, without judgment, and whatever you imagine becomes real. When was the last time you actually felt that? Because that feeling, that pure, unfiltered, creative freedom is exactly how you felt when you were 7 years old with a box of Legos spread across the living room floor, or when you filled a sketchbook that nobody else was ever going to see, or when you started writing a story at midnight just because the idea excited you and you couldn't stop. The overworld is your childhood imagination given a physical world to exist in. And the real world, the one we all have to go back to every morning, that's the nether dark, chaotic, loud, and ruled by something that is constantly trying to take control away from you. Which brings us to Malgosha, the villain of this film. On the surface, she's just the bad guy with an army of pigs who wants to destroy the overworld for personal reasons. But look a little closer at what she actually represents. She is obsessed with power and control, and the one thing she cannot stand is a world where people create freely without asking for her permission. She wants to take over a place where imagination is the only currency, and she wants to replace it with something she can dominate. Sound familiar? Because Malgosha is not just a piglin warrior. She is every system, every institution, every teacher, every boss, every well-meaning family member who ever sat you down and told you to stop dreaming and be realistic. She is the part of growing up that slowly, quietly kills the creative kid that used to live inside you. Here is what this movie is actually saying underneath all the noise. Growing up doesn't mean your creativity has to die. It just means most people stop protecting it. They let the world convince them that building things for the joy of building them is a childish waste of time. Steve didn't defeat Malgosha because he was the strongest fighter in the room or because he had the best weapons or the most experience. He won because he never once stopped building, never stopped creating, even when everything around him was literally on fire and falling apart. That is the message buried under every chicken jockey joke and every Jack Black moment in this film. The most powerful thing you can do, not just in Minecraft, but in the real world you wake up in every single day, is to keep creating even when no one is watching, even when it doesn't pay the bills, even when the people around you don't understand what you're making or why you're making it. So the next time someone tells you that the Minecraft movie was just a dumb kids film with no substance and no soul, remind them that the best ideas in history always looked stupid before they went on to change everything. I'm Smith, this is Smithverse, and we are just getting started. Subscribe because the next one goes even deeper.